Farmers face a lot of guesswork in their operations, especially in managing yield-robbing diseases that are extremely difficult to scout, such as white mold and frog eye leaf spot. Often, soybean farmers must make spray decisions in mid-July during early reproductive stages. However, scoutable symptoms aren't usually visible until mid-August or later. The absence of data in those critical weeks means that a wrong guess can add up to lost yield or wasted sprays that drain ROI and drag down profits, especially in seasons with high input costs. Aidan Kleinschmidt is a farmer in Northeastern Nebraska who subscribed to the CropVoice Disease Alert Network. This case study examines the experiences and insights that he shared during the 2025 soybean season.
So there's just a lot of guesswork because particularly like with diseases or there's different fungicides that work better on certain diseases.
CropVoice was designed specifically to take the guesswork out of fungicide decisions by providing data directly from plants' immune system responses to farmers during the most disease-critical weeks of the season. The world's first real-time disease detection network, CropVoice is powered by inner soy plants that are genetically engineered to signal when fungal infections activate their immune system genes. CropVoice combines data from those live plants with data from other sources, including boots-on-the-ground scouting efforts by local agronomists, tissue sampling, and advanced disease models. The system distills all of those data streams into scouting reports that are delivered to subscribing farmers weekly during peak disease periods between late vegetative and early reproductive stages. Scouting reports track current disease levels with quick-look indicators of general disease pressure and provide forecasts for the coming week. Farmers are updated as disease models change. Aidan and his neighbors in northeastern Nebraska and southern South Dakota saw this firsthand during the summer of 2025.
The scouting reports I thought were informative. They did a good job of, like I was saying, they're just breaking stuff down, putting it into terms where everybody can read it, because you get a lot of that, especially with disease and different things like that. You can get a lot of very big scientific words, but they did a good job with all that, breaking it down and, saying like what they found and, severity, high risk, low risk, 15-inch beans compared to 30 or 20 or, whatever. They did a good job covering all bases, I thought.
The rising disease pressure tracked by the weekly scouting reports culminated on July 11, late R1, early R2, with the world's first detection of an active fungal infection. Subscribing farmers were alerted by text, email, and John Deere Operations Center.
It was a Saturday night, I remember. I got the alert that disease was found in the county or whatever, and I actually know that there's a plot that they have a plot. It's about 3 miles away from a couple fields I have, and then that Monday morning I got out there and I started spraying beans. So I really liked that. It was within 2 days notice I could get it sprayed.
That early notice allowed Aidan to get ahead of the disease impact on his soybeans, and he noticed a significant difference at harvest.
We get down in the bottoms and stuff, and it was dramatic drop off. So then it was just like, crap, we're gonna see that all the way through harvest, in the soybeans. But then we got onto some stuff we treated, in particular this 240 acre field I'm talking about, where we treated the whole bottom with our drone. And once again, my brother's in the combine there, and he goes, hits me over the CB, and he goes, "You'll never guess what this hopper load just tested." And I was like, I don't know, 75. And he's like 86 or 7, whatever he said, and I was like, holy crap, that tells me one thing: what we did there must have worked. And but yeah, then we got the field done, all said and done, and that particular bottom 40 acres there, I mapped it out. It was 86 bushels compared to mile north, or just anywhere else I should say, but particularly I'm talking about a mile north where we did not treat, and it was in the 50s down the bottom, 60s. It's just hard. I can't really put a number on it. It's kind of hard to map bottom ground when it's just valleys and stuff, but it was dramatic drop off, at least 25 bushel. It was crazy.
For the first time in the 10,000-year history of agriculture, farmers have data from inside the plants themselves, giving them the power to change how and when they make key fungicide decisions.
Normally we're after fungicides like at R3, it's more or less plant health. At that point you're not going to do much for white mold, at least in our experience, because you're putting pods on, there's not as many flowers. So it did. We usually go after, I call them the cheaper fungicides. It's more about plant health, but where we're treating at R1 or R2, I think this year it was R2 when that white white mold alert came. There's different fungicides that you can use. Some are better on white mold, some are better on frog eye, some are, different levels of fungicide. So it definitely changed our operation in that standpoint. We started using, some fungicides that we've never used before because, they targeted white mold. So that was probably the biggest change for our operation.
For farmers like Aiden, the ability to know if and when there's an actual infection based on data directly from plants' immune responses gives them peace of mind to know that they're maximizing ROI instead of relying on guesswork.
So it took a lot of guesswork out of it in my mind on what to do. If it can make any decision easier, if there's something that can make any decision a yes or no, not a maybe, that's what I'm about. And it felt like that was the case. I would be very inclined to subscribe to CropVoice again next year.
How can CropVoice help take the guesswork out of your operation?